So if you haven't figured out by now, like getting leads is like the number one thing you all need to be focusing on right now. So over the next couple of months, you probably want to identify how you guys get leads. How that's like whatever form of getting leads is your way of getting leads. My way is just social media, so that's what I lean on heavily. We're not going to be talking too much about that today, but it applies a little bit because I use a little bit of it. So that's just a little bit about me. Last year, I think in terms of volume, it was around 18 million, 35 transactions. And then this year, we'll see. Probably right around that. So, this whole office has been really good, really helpful. I was doing what you guys did last year. Yeah. Todd, I came in through this office through Todd. Todd used to be my realtor. I used to move around every single year. Todd was who we used. He was 2 classes ago for the listing presentations. I used to be my realtor growing up, so I would go look at homes with him when I was like 13, 12. And then a few years ago when I wanted to become a realtor, I asked him where to go. And that's why I joined this place. So, having considered joining any other offices, everybody here is so, let's go around. Quick intro, name, how long you guys have been doing, been a realtor, how many transactions you closed, if any. Yeah, whatever else you start around.
First, okay. Riley. I have been a realtor. It's my 5th year. I'm just running office. Um, something like that. I think
That works. Yeah. Just gonna gauge how deep I need to go into certain things. So
right now, working on carpenter. Here, a couple years ago.
that's okay. I'm quiet. I'm not loud.
I have to shave my
Okay.
parking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Speak like this. Agency.
Home care being, what do you do for that?
Our home care
Mm-hmm.
is mostly people who have Medicaid waivers. They instead of going into a nursing home, they'll stay in their home and just receive care
Okay.
from like CNAs
Gotcha.
and family members.
A friend that's doing that for
I want to do
Jenny. I got my license in April of last year. I immediately joined KW. And I've done one transaction.
I'm Isaac James. Just joined KW. I'm actually making additional brokerage, smaller local brokerage. Close one, but I've had my license since. But I left the country since then. And just getting back.
Yeah.
Brazil.
For fun.
Half the year I play with.
Travel. Eric?
I got licensed just a couple weeks ago, so I haven't had any transactions still, like
I got licensed. I got licensed in July. I was still working full time. I was at a different brokerage while my team brought me over around Christmas. That will be my third transaction. My first solo
You have the buyer.
transaction. I'm a buyer specialist.
Buyers.
My first solo transaction actually fell apart. The garage was zoned as a ballroom, which they needed to get retroactive permitting on, but then they had to rezone it first. So they ended up, like, the day before closing, and then we had to find a new house. So,
They don't put a ballroom.
zoned as a ballroom. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
that
like
was a
it was
zoning
like an
option.
actual, just like garage, freestanding garage that they have built. Permits on.
You're gonna park in here, you must
Start dancing.
Yeah.
So I already have some crazy stories.
What's going on? It was the appraisal was just
No, the appraiser originally said the only thing that needed to happen was like the value was good and they needed the tub secured because it was like moving around. So we did that, and then they were like, actually,
conventional.
then they were like, actually, the foundation has some cracking. We need to like verify that everything's good there. We don't care about the foundation. We already had it looked at. And run. Get that fall.
Well, it seems like it.
Yeah, I mean, they have everything they need now, so the lender's just kind of scrambling last minute to get everything out, which is
Were you closing it?
it's over in Irvington. It's a real estate office for the state.
Not fun. Not fun enough.
I mean, I don't know, but like he's like, well, I'm gonna teach you something about real estate. It's always I've been in this business for like I didn't want to air it out.
Dragon.
It is always funny when there's like some trouble on the other side. And one of the first things that the other agent says is how long have you been in the business?
Yeah, I'm like I've only been in this business for like 6 months. I don't know what you're about to teach me.
Okay, cool. I just have one last one. As soon as somebody says that,
Or I've gotten kiddo a couple of times.
Where did you come from? Like, where did you? Apparently this is my question. But I'm just curious. Like, what did you do before?
I was in warehousing, so operations management, heavy people management, process management. So think of like Amazon. That's kind of what I was doing, but not Amazon because I didn't. It was like a 3PL. So I would like for Dick's Sporting Goods, it was Radial was, but they had the clients were Dick's Sporting Goods, Zara, like all of the big names, to where like we would store the inventory in our warehouses, and then when somebody goes onto the Dick's Sporting Goods website and buys it,
I worked in BPOs for many, many years. Most of the BPOs I worked for, from a call center standpoint, we were tied to 3PLs. So, like, it's logistics, all of those.
there's a lot.
Yes,
Radial
it-
wasn't too big. It was like 15 sites.
yeah, it's very small.
There's some larger 3PLs. Yeah, so that's what I did. I moved around a lot, and so like I wanted to become a real estate agent for a long time. To your question, I just needed to get to a certain level so I could quit, and if real estate didn't work out, then I could go back to doing whatever else I was doing. That's why I didn't become a real estate agent earlier, is because I know sometimes it's a little risky. It's all commission. I wanted to get to a certain level in that career. That's what I was doing. Okay. Um, Selling, marketing, your listing. 75% of it has to do with pricing it really well, in my opinion. Like 50 to 75% is like I am very, very, very. I get very deep on the price point because usually that's what it's 50 to 75% of importance. Like buyers nowadays, they just know if something's overpriced, like they can feel it, and there's enough Zillow estimators to know if something's overpriced. And I don't like stuff sitting on the market. So in terms of like importance, pricing, like having an accurate price is very important. We'll go to the first page here that I got for you guys. So I only have 4 pages for you today. I try to keep things as simple as possible once I get to like actually marketing the property. So like, once we're past the CMA, the listing presentation, and like I know that this is going to be a client of mine, I really only go through the first page, and these are my steps that I do. I try to keep it very simple because at the end of the day, like if I want to make this a viable business for myself, I need more than one transaction at any one point in time, and I need it to be replicatable as much as possible. So like I try to keep the process as simple as possible because I don't want to overcomplicate it. I think it is pretty simple, so I try to keep it simple. I know there's 29 steps on that page, front and back, but a lot of it is admin stuff or like pricing stuff or stuff you do when you're actually meeting with a client. So I'll pull it up too, and we'll kind of go through it, and I'll just like talk through it. And I might. Do you guys want to ask questions? You can at any point in time. This is going to be like a very informal way, but I'm going to tell you like exactly how I do it. And then at the end, I'll give you these forms, at least the templates, if you want to use them. Right now, we'll just go over the first page. We'll get to the second page, and then the last 2 pages are very simple. They're just like supplementary information for sellers. Okay, so okay, and we're gonna skip over a couple of these because you already learned about them. But if I think they're more applicable, I might stress on a couple of them, like I did with pricing. So, like a detailed CMA. This is like the first step in my 29 steps. So provide a detailed CMA, providing comparable homes that have been recently sold, pending, or listed. I'm not going to go too deep because Jennifer does a really good job of that. I know she told you guys all about that already. That's who taught me to. So she does a really good job. Pricing to me is very, very, very important. So much so where, like, for example, I'm just going to give you guys an example. I'm selling a $500,000 home, and I think that I want it listed at $500,000 because that's the price point that I'm seeing, and I just try to get them the most amount of money for their home, of course. But if I think it will sell for 500, I might approach the sellers with a range of I think it's going to sell between 480 and 520, and with the goal that we land at 500 hopefully. With the price to start off. I think in certain markets, so in my opinion, we're still in the seller's market right now, especially in the springtime or the summertime, to where I don't think that you can price something too low. Like it's just going to attract a whole bunch of buyers, and you're going to get bid up to what it should sell at regardless. So I have a buyer, I think their place will sell at 500, and if they're okay and they want to sell it the first weekend, I'm totally okay with listing it at 480, 490, because I think that there's a pretty good chance it's going to get bid at 500 anyways, and you'll sell it the first weekend. So whereas if I'm sitting on the table with them and they're like, I say I think it's going to sell at 500, and they're like, okay, let's try to go at 510 or 520,000 first. Then I'm going to be like, do that, but it might take a month to sell. If you're okay with it being on the market for a month, list it at 520 or 510. Just know that we're probably going to have to do a price reduction to 500,000. Then your home's going to sell in a month. It's a money that we would have if we just listed it at 490 or 500. So pricing is really important. I try to like pinpoint exactly the price it's going to sell at. I spend a lot of time on that. So hate overpricing. It's a waste of time. Um, Try not to overprice, and if they're like, if the sellers are in over their heads on what they think their price should be, do your best to convince them otherwise. And if they still want to list a little bit too high, probably just be very clear that you think it's overpriced. Like I'm not very much a straight shooter when it comes to listings. So like if you go to the home and I see something that's off or needs to be staged, I'll tell them. I think it's important just to be straight up. So, pricing is probably the biggest factor there. Just to be upfront. You guys have all the information, so that seems important. Okay. Number 2 on the listing action plan, suggest any changes that they might be able to make to their property. So, like a lot of times when I have, a lot of times when I have like somebody contact me that wants to sell, I'll ask if I can come over and just check out their property. And I will. I like to do that just to have like human interaction. I do all the time. But most of the time they're asking about staging and like what changes they need to make before they list their property. I don't recommend a lot of changes that they need to make. Probably 75% of it is just decluttering stuff they need to do. They might need to like repaint a room, but I'm most of the time not recommending that they do anything because sometimes I just don't think it's worth it. So if they're going to spend $10,000 on a project to get it ready, it's going to need to return them like $30,000, and most of the time, like I don't see that happening. Unless there's like they need to repair some flooring because there's a huge scratch or something like that. That's pretty easy stuff to do. But most of the time, I'm not recommending like large projects. Most of the time, it's like you need to declutter, or if you need to do a carpet repair, here's a carpet repair person, or a flooring person to make a small repair, and then maybe you need to paint the room color on this one. That's most of what I'm recommending. But I'm usually, most of the time, I'm telling them the price, like kind of there it is. I haven't had to recommend any major projects too much of it. Actually, so far. So, most of the time, it's just that very simple stuff that I'm recommending. And number 3, price your home competitively and expertly based on data. Go back to pricing. Pricing is important. By the way, I got this sheet, listing plan from Steve Rupp. I don't know if you guys have met him. I got this during when I was in Ignite a year and a half ago. I changed it a little bit to like make what I want to make it, but it's helpful. And it just looks good when you go into somebody's home and you have like, this is exactly what I'm going to, 29 steps that I'm going to do to it. It looks nice. Okay, photography. So, um, pricing is super important. Photography, is super important. Like 1 and 2, in my opinion. So you need to take professional photos. They're not too expensive, anyways. $200 if you just want photos. If you want contact, let me write it on my notes in here so you guys can write it down. Okay. I'm gonna give you guys a name for photos that is pretty good. It's pretty cheap. And is easy to work. So his name is Trey. I think you can see that. Well, does everybody have a pen? Okay. His name's Trey. His phone number is 317-438-0141. 317-438-0141. So he's pretty good. I've been happy with all the photos that he's done there. It's
Is he
important.
doing a drone or just?
Yeah, he has a drone. They're just at a cost. So like if a property has some nice, like a nice backyard, then I would do a drone, for sure. So like anything that it takes to highlight. So photography, of course, and then if it's like a nice backyard or you want to highlight the location, I always do the drones if I want to do that. It's worth it. I don't, what does it say? Provide floor plan. I don't have him do my floor plan. He can do a lot of stuff. I do the floor plan on an app called Kubicasa. You guys heard of that? Usually Wendy heard of it. So Kubicasa is Cubicasa. And it's free. And so like during my listing appointment, I'll walk around the house for 5 minutes and make it floor plan. So as easy as that, it takes 5 minutes and it saves you $75. Usually when people are looking at a home from online, they care about pictures. They want to see a floor plan a lot of the times. Like those are, you usually want to have a floor plan. Yeah, I have. Uh, I have this thing. It's just like $20. I just use it to measure rooms, just the dimensions of like the main rooms. It is a Bosch Blaze. It's not more than 30, but it works really good. But this is what I use to just measure rooms. And I'll do this during the listing. I'll find sometimes do like 5 minutes for the measurements for the room, and then so you're just verifying. So a lot of times on like the resales from the other listings, they will already have room dimensions, but I'm just verifying that they have them there. No, only the main ones. So only the ones that on the BLC you have to put in, like for the primary bedrooms, like the number of rooms on each floor. Only if I put the room onto the BLC is when Thanks for reminding me on the drones. But those are important. I also have my own room that I have. But you guys, that's over. That's just because I do social media videos. But
I
I,
used to take your videos.
um, my phone is what I've historically done. Now I got a nice camera, but it's been the phone and the drone. But even like for the photography, I use Trey for the drones. I don't think okay. Now we're gonna get into a little bit of social media. So after the photography, then I also do video. And so like the types of video that I do, go to the second page. Go to the second page a little bit. Now we're getting, well, the second sheet, sorry. Not the back of it, but the second sheet.
I have a
So,
quick question about your account. Is that all, like, did you start that account when you started real estate? Or was that just
Mhm.
like, but it's like from 0 to
so I give them like the two main sheets that I give them is this 29-step listing process, and then the second page that you have is I offer like little minute differences based on the listing price of the home. So like if it's $500,000 or above, then I do a little bit more. So then if it's over $500,000 and I'm really trying to push it, and like I'll spend a lot more money. So I think I have in there. I'll do like 2 videos. So if it's a really nice house, I'll do a lot more videos just because I also cost money to do that if I'm paying the editor to do that. And then at the bottom too, like if they want to have a cleaning done on the home, or if they want a handyman to come in, then I'll pay for that. So that's what I do. You guys don't have to do that, but that's what I do. And sometimes people don't even use the cleaners that I have at all. Say like probably less than 50% of the time people actually take advantage of that stuff that I have on the very bottom, but it's nice to have. It did help me sell it in December. So, cleaning lady that I have, there's a buyer that came in, and I guess she's very particular on how the ovens look. And my cleaning lady, she does a really good job of cleaning ovens. So, at the closing table, it's just like, yeah, that's one of the reasons why we buy your house. So, it's a lot of like small stuff sometimes. So like price is huge, photography is huge, but then like sometimes it's small things like having it decluttered, of course, but also having it cleaned nicely too. So there's a couple of things like the handyman cleaning. I have those in there because I think it does help. I charge 3%. So if I'm charging 3% instead of 2.5 or 2.75, then I mean, it's not $300 isn't too much, or $500 isn't too much when I'm making more than 10,000 off a listing. So I don't mind doing all this extra stuff because I'm making a lot of money on the listing. I think that's good enough for the second sheet. We'll go back to the first sheet right now. Well, any questions there? I guess we'll pause. I need a break.
So this sheet that we just went over, like, what is this for? I guess, like, is this at your listing presentation or like where?
I'll either or. If I'm talking to somebody and I feel like it'd be pertinent to have this information before I go to the listing, I'll send it over along with the 29 step before. Sometimes I go over it during the listing presentation. Most of the times it's during the listing presentation. Sometimes it depends. Like last week I only had an hour with some folks in the first 40. We walked the home for too long, and so I only had like 20 minutes to go over everything, and so I didn't get to go over it as in depth as I would have liked to. So like I had a feeling that was going to take place, so I sent this stuff to them before. So normally it should just be done at the same time. Like listing appointment, you go through the 29-step process, you go through that sheet. That's how it should. Okay. So to get back to this, number 5, I think so. Social media. I'm going to touch on social media. I think everybody should have a social media account if you're doing real estate. I think it's like one of the. I don't know if I'll say it's one of like the best ways to generate leads for anybody that's coming in. Usually, for like the new age of real estate agents, that I see having a lot of success that are new to the business in the last 3 years. Most of the time, I'm seeing it come through like social media. Maybe that's because I'm looking at a lot of social media, so that's what I notice. But I think if you're trying to do a really good job, you need to have branding. This is my opinion on real estate. You could be like the best real estate agent in the world, and you might not have any listings or buyers. Everything about real estate, yeah, but you need to have leads coming in. So you need to figure out all this is fantastic stuff, like this listing stuff that I'm showing you, but you guys need to get leads like ASAP. And then if you have any questions on this stuff, so like don't focus too much on this listing stuff right now. If you don't have any leads, like go out there and get leads. So like, I don't know what class would be more for it. Maybe the database or open houses. So like get leads as much as you possibly can. I think that's when I was a real estate agent, I probably focused a little bit too much on making sure all my processes were buttoned up, even for listings, and I didn't focus as much getting leads. So it took me, like my first 6 months in the business, I had 3 transactions, which isn't bad at all. I thought I was happy with it, but I could have done more. I was too focused on making sure I had my processes set up. And I think it should be the other way. So try to get as many leads as possible. And then when you need help, there's a lot of people here in the office to help you. Transaction coordinators, agents too. So just keep that in mind. Leads are very important. I'm giving you a lot of information here. It might be a little overwhelming. If it is, just put it in the back of your mind and just like think about leads. And then when you need this information and you find somebody that wants to sell their home, then you can pull it back out and ask me questions too. Ask me questions too. But leads are very, very, very important. So understate that right now. Leads are very important. But that's why I do videos as well, is because I want leads. So like house tours are a really good way to get leads on social media. So I do house tours. It's the same reason why Kyle and Summer on TikTok that are real estate agents in this area do a lot of business. Because they do a lot of house tours. And they put out there what homes go for in the area. And when you're putting a lot of videos out there, the algorithm feeds that. It shows you more, and you get more
For the like video content, if you don't have listings, are you going to other people's listings and doing house tours?
So that's what I'm doing. New builds are very easy. ask the sales rep. But yeah, they'll say yes 100% of the time. I like pre-existing more, just because I think they're more exciting. New builds are easier for home tours because you don't have to ask. Very easy to do. Pre-existings, if I don't have any listings, I'll ask other people. I can make a video for them. And then also, like, I'm not trying to take credit for their listing. I'll be like, this is Mary's listing. And I'll say the listing agent's name in the first, if I remember to do this. In the first like 15 seconds of the video, and I'll do the video. Like, nobody really minds. Like I've gone to listing appointments before where like I'll say the listing agent's names in a lot of the videos, and people still think that those are my listings. But the main goal is like for those videos, like I do I think I do a good job on listing homes, but it's also because I want more business from it. So like I'll do a really good job on the videos, but that's because I want more listings or I want leads to come from the videos. So I'm trying to generate more business from like what I'm doing. So not like so when I'm trying to like do a really good job, is it'll should sell quickly, get them a lot of money on the sell side for the sellers, and then I want to do a good job too because I want buyers. And I want more listings. So that's why I think social media and video is important. It kind of highlights everything. Okay, open houses. You guys have already had a class on open houses. Where I'm probably the worst person at open houses because I just don't do a good job at following up. Open houses. I've gotten business through open houses before. They do work. You need to follow up with people though, and I don't do a great job of doing that. It's not a part of my business. Open houses for generating business for myself. But when I have a listing, I always like to try to hold open houses because like, you can't sell a house from an open house. You can get buyers, and I know that. So this is kind of how I work. I'll list a home on a Thursday. I'll block off showings on Thursday. Showings will start Friday. And then I'll have an open house Saturday and Sunday as well. So that's my frequency. Oh, I will always have an open house the first weekend. And at the same time, for selling and marketing your listing, you're not looking for like the first offer on your home. You're looking for like the second. Like you're trying to generate multiple offers. So I won't like I put in my private agent remarks that I need all offers to take and to have a 48-hour response time. I'm sometimes okay with like a 48-hour response time. Sometimes I go back and forth. Between 24-hour response time is required or a 48-hour. Because if we get one offer in the first day that we're on market, the chances are very high we're going to get a second and third. So first offer is usually not the best. Usually the second, third, and fourth. And then you get better terms for your sellers. It's just an easier process. So that was open houses, but that's kind of my frequency too. Okay, we'll move on. I always do. I always do. I think it's the best days to list. I think other people, well, what do you guys do? Thursday?
Because then you have the momentum. That's what people are like.
Yeah.
They want to get it over. Fresh.
So for like buyers, I have a buyer. Telling them Thursday's the most popular day for new listings. But at the same time, I'm telling them to be looking Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday in case something comes on the market, because we might avoid a multiple offer situation. So exactly what Mary said. If there's a home that comes on the market on a Monday, people are working for the whole day, and if your buyers are open to going after work and looking at a home on Monday, it probably cuts down like 75% of competition. Just because sometimes people they just can't look at homes on days. That's exactly what it was. Just on Thursday night, ask always for the 24-hour response time because I don't want it to sell before it gets to the weekend. I block off Thursdays too, so we don't get any offers on Thursdays. So if we do get an offer, it's probably going to be on Friday in the evening, which would be a response time of Saturday evening, which would get most of the population Saturday morning to also look at the home and see if they want to offer. Which is the reason why I like Thursdays. Okay. Lock boxes. Two things on lock boxes. One, if you're selling a place, make sure that it's easy to open up the door for like a person. It's one of my pet peeves is when I'm standing outside for like a minute trying to mess with the door. Test it before you list a home for sale. Just make sure it's easy to operate. Just for first impressions. And that is like installing a lockbox is a step. If they try to sell it on their own, I mean, it's $100. So I use the Bluetooth lockboxes. I just think that they look nice. I haven't had any issues with Bluetooth yet. But you can do manual lockboxes that are like $20, $30. That's probably the easiest avenue when you're first starting out, just to do like a cheap lockbox. And that's fine. So I think people have like extra lockboxes here in the office as well. Step 8. Okay, we're getting there. Provide access through Broker Bay. Okay, we're gonna skip that one unless you have a question.
Oh, I just was gonna say, so this is also part of the closing presentation, but like, I'm assuming, I guess I'm wrong, but like, you're just not being like, okay, so step 1 is I'm gonna like,
Mhm.
it's just not good, this is my plan, and if you have any questions, you're like, good.
No.
Okay.
Because so most of the time when somebody wants me to list their home, it's because they know from social media,
Right.
so they expect the videos.
Mhm.
And we've already talked about the pricing on the listing appointment as well. So like a lot of it's pricing, and then it's a little bit of video, and we've already covered that already.
Okay.
And so I'm like, this is everything that I'm going to do. There you go, so you know.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't sit here for like, but like this is exactly what I do to sell and market the listing. So that's why we're going through it all right now with you guys. Okay. Step 9, create and display interior marketing, which I need to fix that. Create interior marketing for your home. That's just like, you can do whatever you want for that. Usually I have like a nice display stand that I put in some Cliff Bars. So it looks nice. I have Fiji water on the side because it looks nice. And then I have a VLC printed out with any attachments there for them to take. So it's very simple. You don't need to overthink the interior marketing at all. Once you have a listing, and if you are questioning, just ask me. Step 11 is what you already know. Once you list on the BLC, then it goes to all the websites, Zillow, Homes, Realtor, and Redfin. Step 12, send out just listed, just pending, new price, and just sold cards. I do that through Brivity, which is my CRM that I use, so it's easy enough. That's not a huge one. If there's anyone that I might recommend not doing, maybe that's the one. Because it's a little bit more complicated to get done. Promote your home through Keller Williams to over 100,000 agents. Honestly, that just sounds nice as a step. So that's why it's. Weekly contact through reverse prospecting to interested buyers. Has anybody ever done reverse prospecting on the VLC? Mary, you have. Riley, you have. Okay. Don't know if I'm going to be able to do it because I don't have any listings right now. But up here,
Reverse prospect.
yeah, for the reverse prospecting. But if you had a listing, you can see everybody that is sending out in a little search. You have like emails of the realtors, and so you can send an email to everybody that might be interested in the home, and just let them know that it's listed. Or you can see if the other clients have favorited the home too, so you can do like one-off call if you want to. But that's something that I do. Most agents don't do that. Like most agents just get too busy and don't even worry about it. But sometimes it can be helpful. Oh yeah, but my emails are good.
Oh, okay.
My emails where I gotta clear up the emails. I try to keep the emails at below 50, 35. Yeah, I need to go through my texts. Get 500?
No, like,
She has 1,100.
how many pages can you have up? I'll just-
Oh, for your website? You said 1,100?
Who are those people? Yeah, I guess. Sometimes I just don't. I'm spam.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, most of the time I would.
Okay. So 14, done. We're going to skip 15. It's self-explanatory. 16. So I do my updates on Tuesday, and I send them an email. How do you guys do your? You do updates on a certain day to your sellers?
And I've been told
Yeah.
I also have something
Probably do the same. I do Tuesdays for my weekly update. Half the time I don't get a response from the sellers, but it's very simple. So like when you list a home, there's certain homes that there's like direct competition. So I give like, updates on 5 homes that are in direct competition. if we have been listed on the market for like more than 2 weeks. So I do an update on the competition, an update on the general listings, new listings, how many listings have sold, and then feedback on previous showings, and that's it. So I just keep it fairly simple, because even that takes me 15 minutes to do, which is a lot of time. Well, that's all I do. So Tuesday is my weekly updates. For my list. I'm not giving for buyers. I'm not giving weekly updates. I'm sure people do. I just don't. For buyers is more of like if I see something or if the buyer sees something, then we just kind of keep each other updated.
Are you so for the seller update? Like,
VLC.
okay, so you just
Mm-hmm.
these are these.
Yeah. If it is, the only other thing which has good analytics is what's called Broker Super One.
Oh yeah.
They have some good analytics on how many showings, like average number of showings for each city
Oh.
or zip code. So if a home has been on the market for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
then I'll start to include those too. It's helpful in the winter time too when they get 0 showings in a week.
Mm-hmm.
They're wondering why, and the average is 1 showing or 2 showings, and it helps them make it feel a little bit better. It's pretty useful. On this left-hand side, well, there's 2: showing insights and then showing analytics. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So like the car. Agreements 25,000. So yes, but brokerbay.com. Yes. So almost pretty busy right now. So I was going price grading. It is. You see it on? Are you on the app?
I'm on my
Yeah, that's why I was like, I don't ever do that on my computer. I didn't even know that was an option. Merged, combined,
something.
Something
Yeah.
That's like the fourth time.
happened. They decided they didn't like the name Broker Bay.
Yeah. But this is really helpful. Is like we can see. So, like between 500 and 600,000, like that's in Carmel. That's like a really good price point. So, if you have a listing, you should be getting 7 showings. That's what it's saying. So I like to like this is very helpful. Or just to see how markets are going. So like I actually kind of want to know this right now. I haven't checked So we're gonna look at market trends. Or you can see like the total number of showings as well. So let's change it to comma. It's a week lag time, by the way. So like this showing at 330 is not updated yet. Is what I found. It shows a dip, but it's not actually a dip. It just needs to update. So you can see like December 28th for showings at Carmel was terrible because it's Christmas. And then we are slowly rising.
You saw the dip with the weather.
Yeah.
Big dip, but it was.
But like we're almost up to, what was it last year? It was 0201 695. Yeah, so we're ahead. So it's more busy than last year. Which I am feeling that right now. But we're going to talk about seasonality. For selling, and marketing your listing last weekend of March, but you can kind of see like the best time to sell your house or sell any house for anybody is between like this middle March area and then like June time. So if I'm meeting with a seller in February, I'm seeing if we can delay it to like I think I can. Yeah, there's just more. So yeah, you can see we're gonna look at analytics a little bit. The other one for analytics is this MyBore Market Insights. So you can see this is all of Indianapolis, but you can see the price fluctuations from like summertime to winter. Like it's massive. So you can have like a 3 to 5% delta if you go to sell something in the summertime versus the winter. So like when I'm thinking about pricing, like I'm very aware of the season. So like if it sells for 500,000 in the summertime, it's not going to sell for 500,000 in the winter. It's probably going to sell for like 470. So seasonality is like uber important. But you can see it here in the statistics. Like it's easy to see. Same thing with active inventory. So, same thing, seasonality for inventory. Inventory peaks out, so like it's better to buy in the fall time. It always peaks out in October or November. And then you get more inventory coming onto the market around this time, but this is the best time to sell, like this, March to June. But it's also when inventory is not the highest. So like if I have a buyer, sometimes if first time home buyers, I do think September, October, November is the best time to buy. So like if I'm meeting with somebody and they're planning to buy a year out from now, like we're having the seasonality conversation. It might make more sense for them to go once a month on a lease for a couple of months and then buy in the fall time than to buy in the summertime. I'm not a huge like salesy realtor, so I'm like I think of myself as a data realtor. Like I just tell people the data, and then they make their own decisions, and then we go from there. So like I'm really into the data and just like telling sellers or buyers how the market is, knowing stuff, and then they make their own decisions. But I'm not super pushy. But that's the Broker Bay one. It's pretty interesting and it's helpful for listings to know the number of showings that are happening there. Okay, and then all of the rest of the steps are like after the home has been on the market. So if we haven't sold the home, then within the first 14 days, we are going to reduce the price. Or we should, as long as the seller agrees. So we should, by the 14th today, if it hasn't sold, like especially in the summertime. That has been, if it's been on the weekend for 2 or more weekends and it hasn't sold in the summertime, then it's probably an issue with the price. So there's usually 3 things that it's usually a price, condition, or location. Price, condition, and location always like wraps up to how a house will perform. But if it's been on the market for summertime, like 2 weeks, it's probably overpriced. You need to come down like quicker. You should come down quick. The average days on the market in the summertime right now is like 7 days. So if it's longer than 7 days, 14 days, that's a double. If it hasn't sold in 14 days, there's a problem somewhere. Maybe it's you have a conversation with the people and you're like, yes, it should sell for 500,000 and you listed at 510. You knew this was going to happen, and now you gotta reduce the price. I put it in here so they know my intentions, and they come to expect it if it's been on the market. Sometimes I might change it if it's been in the winter time, because the average days on the market goes to 30 days, and 20 to 30 days in the winter time, so I might change it to that in the winter time, based on the seasonality. But I include the price reduction on here so they know it's not really me, it's more of like the market telling them that it's overpriced and they expect it. Skip down. And then again, on step 20, if we do a price reduction after the first 14 days and we do a price reduction and it still doesn't sell, then we're going to do another one. Put it there too. Depending on, it's more of a feel. They're helpful. But the longer, if you do open houses every single weekend for the same property, sometimes people come to expect it. The first weekend and the second weekend are like the 2 most important weekends. And then I will not, well, it takes a lot of time to do open houses. So maybe if I had like, I'm only a single individual realtor, so I'm not doing an open house every single weekend, especially if they're not taking my advice. If it's overpriced, chances of people coming to the open house are not the best. So I'm not going to wait. If I told them what I think about the price and it's still overpriced, then I'm not going to be as ready to do an open house for them every single weekend. If they are wanting us to do an open house every single weekend, I'll tell them that they need to reduce the price. But I don't have that. I don't have that I'm doing an open house on here every single weekend. What it would say. Yes. Hold a public open house shortly after your home goes on the market. So I don't say anything about open houses going forward. It's more of like that. Yeah, it's more of a feel. Step 21, we already talked about it. Skip that. Weekly updates every Tuesday. Step 22, this is what happens when you get an offer going forward. So I like to do a good job on my transactions so I can get referrals down the line. So working the transaction in a really good manner is important. So to me, what that means is like your seller knows exactly what's going on at every step of the stage. So like I have a next steps email that I send them right after they go under contract, which explains everything that they need to know. I don't get questions a lot. Once we're under contract, it's pretty simple. That's just telling them I'm gonna send out a next steps email. Week before closing, well, and then you have like the inspection and the appraisal that you need to update them on. That's telling them in the next steps email when to expect all the week before closing. I send them a closing approaching email, which pretty much just says everything that they need to know a week out. So we need to change out stop utilities, uh, closing confirmation, a move out checklist, and that sort of thing.
You have those templatized emails. Can you forward those?
That's it.
11:06.
Took up a lot of time. Okay. Okay. We hit the second sheet already. The third sheet and the fourth sheet is getting ready for photography, I believe. And then the fourth one is just what's due for showings. So here, I'll show you. Usually comes out. So I post on Thursdays, which means I usually have them out Mondays. So usually people think that they don't need to prep as much as they do for photos until they start prepping, and then they need to do a lot of decluttering. So like usually Mondays work good, and it doesn't give me a whole bunch of time if something happens with the weather, but.
Like we do.
No, I'm doing everything on that Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday at the very latest. Like Trey can still come out Wednesday, and I can still list Thursday.
Monday, we will.
Yeah. So getting the photos is the most important thing. So I'll have.
So it's like the listing appointment, the listing appointment is on Thursday.
My listing appointment is. My listing appointment is. It depends. It can be. It's essentially as early as I make contact. So if I know that they're gonna sell a home, then I'm gonna make it as soon as possible. To go out there and look at the property. I'm trying to. So most of my leads come from social media. So most leads come from like might be referral. A lot of realtors use referrals. So like people don't. Sometimes people haven't talked to you. They don't know you. So I'm trying to go to their house as soon as I can to make an introduction. So listing appointment is like as soon as they're okay. I'm trying to read the room a lot, but are they ready for me to come over, or do I need to set an appointment 3 weeks in advance? Sometimes I set like buying appointments, or listing appointments, like a month in advance. I just have them. Other times I'm talking to somebody 2 days prior, and I set it up to go 2 days later. But like during the listing appointment, they probably won't know what date they're going to want to list or the price that they're going to want to list at. So like you can have people sign the documents, just leave the price and the listing date blank. And then when they know, then you can fill that portion out. So you can do a lot of stuff without like finalizing it if you don't know every single detail. But this is for when I did last year. So this was for an Indianapolis house, 14th through 17th cleaning and staging, 18th. So I guess last year I did this one on a Friday. It must have worked better for him then. So I did it on the 18th. Oh, this one I split. So now I do video and photography on the same day if I can do that. Photography was either Monday or Tuesday, whatever we decided. And then the 23rd was the sign installation, which I don't do the sign installation by myself. This is the website that I use for my signs. I think it's yes. Yeah. So I'll just go on here and put in a request for them to install or remove a sign, which I need to do. Okay. That was a sign. Thursday's the go live. And then exactly. I'll send you guys. I'll send you guys this go live schedule events and then like templates. I have a lot more templates that I don't use. That might be of help to you guys though, so I'll send those over as well. I'm trying to like simplify stuff this year as much as I can. So, like these are all templates that I have if I want to use them. I don't use all of them. I actually need the ones that I don't use, you just need to delete or move them to a folder. But I'll show you like the ones that I actually do use. They're helpful enough. But I paid for these when I first started. There's a podcast that I liked listening to, and they make templates for a lot of people. Like, you start to like once you're in real estate, there's a lot of business opportunities that stem off real estate. So like it's called Hustle Hunt podcast. Two realtors that are based in Louisiana, and then they just talk. A large portion of their business now is that you can buy templates and stuff on the website. So this is what I did when I first started. I'll just send you guys because they're helpful. I still use them. There. Okay. You guys have any questions? We'll just talk. I got
Good info.
podcast. It's called Hustle Humble. But first year, yes. Now I'm trying to hustle less.
That's what the world needs.
Yeah.
Did you and Ryan list a house from your meeting?
Not yet. He has maybe a lead, which would be cool. But me doing everything, use Heather Spinner for
The social media was like a slow.
it was slow. Yeah, it was just slow. I could have probably done. I could have done it faster. Home. So I do like a mix of community. This is still took about 6 months. And then after 6 months, then we got
Did you just do Instagram, Facebook, or did you do like TikTok, YouTube?
I do. So there's two differences: short form and long form.
Right.
If I'm doing a long form, I'm posting everywhere. So I have TikTok, I have Instagram that's linked to Facebook. I post that. If I'm doing any short form, I post it everywhere. Short form is like anything that's under maybe like 90 seconds or 2 minutes. Now you can do like short form a little bit longer. Like Instagram allows you to do longer. It's not like YouTube. When I think of YouTube, it's like 9 or more minutes. And it's horizontal instead of vertical. So I think a short form is like phone. And I think of like long form is YouTube. And like more people watch YouTube on their TVs rather than their phones. So YouTube. So there's a lot of realtors doing Instagram, TikTok now. I've noticed that over the last year and a half, there's a lot of people doing it. So it makes it a little bit harder to get in. There weren't as many people doing that when I started. But now, like, people are noticing it. It's increasing the competition a lot. YouTube is, I think, YouTube is still wide open for all of the outlets. I think short form is too. There's plenty of business to do. But like on Instagram, I can probably think of like 5 or 6 people that are doing a pretty good job on Instagram that I can look at their volume and be like, yes, they're getting their volume from Instagram. YouTube, I think it's probably like 2 people. So if you want to do YouTube, Jason Compton is somebody good to look at. Right now, like, YouTube is market. He has like a hold on YouTube, but it's just because like, nobody's doing it. Started to. Too much with like Instagram at the same time without the team.
It's exhausting, especially the editing process. Because I did like vlogging for like football and stuff. And it's like, the fun part is recording and making the content, but it sucks putting it together, making sure like it's, YouTube has all these different rules about the music you can use or stuff like
trying to find that. It's probably one of my tasks for the next 2 months is to find some things that sound like
How
What
long
I-
does it take you to do?
not too bad. Like an hour. For a short form. So I'm doing, like my days look like, for short form you need to do 3 or 4 videos per week max at minimum. So I might, usually on like a day that I'm post, it's like 2 hours in the morning. But like most successful realtors will do sometimes like 3 or 4 hours of lead generation a day. They do that consistently. So like the biggest thing is just like find which way you're gonna get leads. And like aim to be one of the top realtors in Indianapolis in that form of lead generation. We use just social media. But if you listen to like the Millionaire Real Estate Podcast, which is another good podcast, they bring on agents that do a whole bunch of different things. And you can get ideas. So like the first 6 months, I was playing around with other things. So I did a lot of door knocking. And I didn't like that. Specifically with people that have dogs. I just felt like if people don't have dogs to be able to. But I feel bad. Dogs go crazy. And I'm just standing at the door. So I don't like to do that. A lot of people do like Sphere. There's like hundreds, probably thousands of different ways to get leads. But I like Millionaire Real Estate Podcast to just like identify what successful people are doing. And it's a little like overwhelming just because there's so many different things to try out. You want to try out different things to figure out what you're good at and what you enjoy to get leads. When I started, I knew it was going to be social media, and I tried other stuff just to make sure. I probably tried other stuff as well. And I did. What is that conference? This is. Talking about the
Missing camp?
Yeah.
Like for this or like for
Keller
paper?
Williams. Bold.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Bold. Then I did bold for one time, and it was like focus on. Then my idea from like that bold, which is I forget what happens. I think in September or November. It's like a month long thing when you go one day a week. And from that, I took that, like, hammered down one thing. And then after that, I just focused on social media because that was my one thing that I was going to do. So a lot of real estate is like finding something that you're going to be very consistent about and just like pushing it as doing it as consistently as you can. Which that's the hard part.
So how do you, like, when you're experimenting with the YouTube, like, how do you, if you have the same content, how are you shooting it both landscape and video?
You can repurpose content. I have not. They're completely different. So my short form is a community videos and home tours, real estate stats, etc. YouTube, I could do a little bit of that and repurpose it to Instagram. Like I know a couple of very successful realtors that do that. They'll have a YouTube video and they'll repurpose it a little bit to Instagram. I just haven't done that because I haven't done enough YouTube videos. I've done 3 YouTube videos.
So I use this like DJI, so you can literally put the
Like when
Yeah,
they're, like when
or you
people
can just
are
flip it
recording
down.
like a podcast, they'll have a camera set up, but they'll
So you
also have a
can-
phone and clip stuff.
You can like do horizontal like that, and then you can like do it vertical like that.
But that was really nice.
Too, because it has the like thing, and it's like a camera tracker.
But
It's just if you record in one, it's hard to make content in the other. So say you want something for Instagram, you record it, you know, one by one, what is it, 3 by 2, whatever.
Mhm.
And then you want to put this on YouTube, like it might work for the shorts, but it won't work for the actual video if you post them on this page.
my views on the differences is that you need to be like very successful. You should do long form for long form and short form for short form. There's times when like a long form video you can put a little bit of short form into it. You can do horizontal and flip it to 6:9, 6:9 ratio, or the 2:3 ratio. Like you can flip it down too. But I edit it like if I'm gonna flip it for a short form, I edit it differently than it would appear in the long form. Because it needs to be quicker and have an effect and catch people's attention in 30 seconds. Long form is necessary. It's more like you want somebody to sit down in 10 minutes or 15 or 20 and listen to what you have to say. Both are good. That's cool. I've been wanting to buy one of those for a long time, but I haven't.
I have some new ones on there. I got that one last year, and I got like a bunch of stuff with it, and that's when it first came out. But now I really go back.
That's pretty good. Have you done a lot of videos using it?
Yeah. So I'm. It's all like the